Hello everyone, this is a long video about showcasing all my tank design to have like a really live hands-on on the model as a showcase, and also to showcase the model and the assembly because it's quite complex for some of the models, I would say. So this is gonna be a long video, and if you want to skip models, it's gonna be implemented in the YouTube chapter, I think, right? So first, before going into it, I'm gonna talk about resin and print setting. All the model was done to be printed on a medium-sized printers and supported for medium-sized printers. So if you have a smaller one, like a Mars or any kind of smaller type of printer, it's not, the pieces are too big to be printed on those. You could like cut, but like it was not designed for it, right? So just a quick disclaimer, keep in mind medium size printer or big size, but like I would say now it's better to have a medium size printer anyway. But that's just, yeah, disclaimer. The gray one here is printed in Ceramic navy blue with a mix of toughness. I wouldn't recommend this mix for the tank because there is a lot of resin into it, and my mix was quite hard, so it didn't matter. So I bought a bunch of Sunlu ABS. Didn't have the dark gray one, but it's fine, right, for the price and because it's a lot of resin. All the pieces I'm gonna showcase is more or less 6 liters of resin. I printed a bunch of like more Canon and stuff I'm not gonna show, but like it's like a 5-liter project of resin, I would say. So keep that in mind if you want to print all the tanks with all the bodies. And it's a lot of print over time. I mean, I have an old model, so maybe for you it's gonna be faster. I don't know, but just keep that in mind. Also, you need to have your resin calibrated. Don't do it like me and use the profile of that one on this resin because I forgot to swap on one of my plates. So one of my model is a bit too tight, but like all the tolerances are made to be 2 microns. Not 2 microns, to 0.2 millimeters. For the gap between pieces, so you have enough room if you don't have everything well calibrated, I would say, right? The last thing I want to say is, yeah, it's a Saturn 1, and it's printed at 32 or micron for layer height, and here I'm using anti-aliasing from Lychee. It's 40% smoothness, and I think it's good result. If you see some weird layer line or cut in my model, it's not in the model design. Sometimes my printer did do weird thing or artifacts, and sometimes it shows, sometimes it doesn't show. So I'm not sure about it, right? So that's covered for resin setting, my printers, and how we can see all the models and how it got printed. It's a very long project if you want to do it, but I think it's really cool to have the tanks assembly like bit by bit, in my opinion, right? Anyway, that's enough rambling about that. Let's go right into the main tanks and the main body. So here right now I'm showcasing the main battle tank, which is one big piece, which is very easy for assembly, right? But I'm not gonna talk about the main battle tank right now. I want to showcase the body first, right? So I'm gonna remove the turrets. And you have two choice of body, right? I'm gonna go to top view. You have the size is the same, but the assembly is not the same. As you can see, this body is done in multiple parts, and this body doesn't require any assembly. That means on a like medium-sized printer you can print 2 bodies. It covers all build plate with 2 bodies, and most of the time I'm gonna print the side with all the gears because you're gonna use a lot of those small gears in the setup. So here's the back side, and here is a full resin one. But I'm gonna talk about the body after. So how I assemble, I'm gonna do the disassembly here. I think it was better to do like the full showcase of assembly and disassembly. when the second time I record this video, so I'm gonna talk about that thing when I do the disassembly. Most of the parts doesn't need glue, but it would be better to have glue. There are only one part that needs glue, and this is the side. And the main, and that's it, right? So as you can see, it's two bodies, but this one have a bunch of multiple pieces, so let's put that on the side here. Okay, so let's talk about the side here. Hopefully my focus, please. No, it's not gonna focus, so let me change. So this is the amount of details you got. It's the tracks are made with the custom geometry nodes in Blender, and you can see it have no deformation, and it follow properly the turn of the wheel. It's like real tracks, like it's not like a curve mesh, and the mesh is not bent, it's flat, right? And you have the gear sprocket here and some of the details on the suspension and the what's called the belt tensioner. As you can see, these parts need to be glued because it was easier to print without this. And keep in mind, you need to have like a, if you push it simply, it should fit properly. This one I got like a bit too quick because I was too happy. It was the first track I built, and as you can see, this one is not perpendicular to the side to the side track. So just be careful to be perpendicular. It's quite easy. I pretend the potions this. This is the core. So this is the main piece of the puzzle for the assembly. You're gonna see why I did it like that a bit later on. I'm gonna showcase the tank accessories later. And this is the key body, right? So keep in mind the core. You can print it, and the key is the key side that goes into the track side. You can print those using FDM, right? I printed with resin to showcase. You can do it if you only have one resin printer. But if you can save money on resin and not print this part and print this one in PLA, it works too, right? And all of my other bodies are printed with the core in PLA and the side in PLA. Printed on a Bamboo Lab with a profile that allows me to have a very good, very good bridging, right? Keep in mind we need very good bridging, a very good square accuracy. Don't have quite tight. So the assembly is pretty straightforward. You have this side that is smaller than the other one. My glove is not working properly right now. So you can align this like this. Let me change camera so I can see what I'm doing too. So I just slide in. Smaller parts, smaller thickness on the top here, and then it just goes like this in. Right, so I'm gonna show the upside. So you just lock everything together, and just want to, right? So one body. For the other body, it needs a little bit of assembly, but not too much, I would say. But it cut this part in two, so it gives more space on the build plate to add some more pieces, right? So, of course, you have the two main parts in the right order, of course. And I can see it's a mix of resin and PLA, and it works perfectly, right? So now I can just slide in like that. And the other one. and it's lock everything together, right? And it shouldn't come apart, right? I mean, I can even separate those pieces and this one too. Okay, this one maybe a little, but not so much, right? So you don't need to glue it if you want. You could glue it if you prefer. I would say some of the parts I'm gonna show you would be better to be glued. If not, it's gonna disassemble itself. Is it English? Oh, sorry. I'm not an English speaker, native speaker, but... And on the back you need 2 gears, 4 of those pieces, and 2 of this kind of bucket, right? So most of the time, I'm gonna put that on the tank so you can see. Insert the gear, and this one goes, you see it's closed here, so, and on this side, okay, the autofocus didn't work on, what does it, okay. So yeah, there is a side that is closed, so you put the side that is closed on the exterior, right? And on the other side too. And then your gear is locked, but it's still moving. But it's locked. But it can still fall on the side, so now you need to just put the bucket inside the body here, and now it's locked. And you have the gears that can move, if you want. If you don't want the gear to be to move, you can just glue it. But I think it's funny to have any kind of moving parts, right? So yeah, that's it for the 2 bodies. Put that here. Just slide right in. And you can't really key it wrong, right? So that's it for the body. Now I'm gonna go into... here's the main battle tank. So I've printed 2 of those turrets. It just goes right in the hole, of course. You have the big cylinder here. And it's big, it's one big piece. So if you don't want multi-piece, this one is quite good. Maybe I should show a bit more of the details of the model in real life. I could like remove all those support marks here, but I was too lazy and you don't see it anyway, so. I'm gonna see a lot of support marks in my models. That are like me being lazy and removing, and you don't see it. I forgot to say about the side. I'm gonna change the view. I broke a couple of hooks. Hello, focus please. So as you can see, there is a bunch of hooks that are broken. Come on. And some of them are okay. It was when you grab them to like clean them in your wash and cure or something like that, don't press on those because it's gonna break. And I did the mistake of like breaking those. So this one like is fine. On this side I have like no link breaked because I was more careful, and on this one it's way better too. Like I have none broken on this one, is perfect. And it's strong, so I can push on it, it's not gonna break. But when before like curing, it's still fragile, right? So just keep that in mind. On the main battle tank, we have a choice of different cannon. So here you have, it just slide in, so you don't need magnets and stuff like that if you don't want it. I don't want magnets because it's a pain, so if I can avoid it, I don't want to use it. And it goes quite deep inside, so... Right? I mean, it's gonna fall, but who's gonna do that with the tanks? Nobody, I think. So, with this turrets, you have different choice of cannon. You have a simple main battle tank cannon. You have this cannon, which is more like I guess a plasma thrower. I'm not sure. I think it's a cool design. Just sliding right in. You have a a big plasma type one. Slide right in. And you have a rail cannon, but that came in different pieces. Let's put that tank aside, and did I... Okay, I forgot one pieces, but you need 2 of those pieces. It's not like I can show the full assembly, and this one needs glue. Just paint it before gluing. But this one would need glue, and I can see it's not the same, so you need to mirror this piece. And it just go like this in. And you should have like one on the other side. And it slide in right in when it's done, right? But this part you would need to glue it. Okay, so that's it for the main battle tank. It's like one of the easy one, I would say. As I have a more complex type of tanks later, so I'm gonna show. But next I'm gonna switch to accessories. As you can see, you have a bunch of oars on these tanks here, and this is for you to customize furthermore your tank. So if you want, I have a bunch of accessories. If you just want to plug those one. Where is the pieces? Okay. You have a very small, tiny cover here that can go in the hole. Like that. You have a small sight that can go on top of it. Maybe I should change camera for this one. Yeah, it's better. You have a small sight here too, so it's another type of sight. Which is a bit smaller than the other one. And you have some kind of active protection or PBGN type of launcher that can go also on top. Okay. So you can glue it, or you can let it fall like that if you want. In my opinion, I would glue some of those, but. So this is the 4 accessories for any kind of those holes. So I'm gonna point those holes on every models, and you can customize furthermore. If you want, you can also use the sentry from the motorcycle. So you just need to have the sentry body, and then it goes inside all like all the other accessories, and then you can print any kind of gun you want. So if I want to have some kind of railgun sentry on top, I can. I'm not gonna show. I can't just put the gun on top of it. It's gonna be way too difficult because you need to glue those. And again, this is like a quad cannon setup, and it just slide like that. But it's not gonna hold. Yeah, it fall on the ground. Right. And you have the same for like the heavy weapon. So you have the sentry with the heavy weapon turrets as a choice if you want. And this also slide in. Not slide in, but like slide on top. Might be okay without the glue, this one, no. You still need to glue all of those. Right. So if you want a longer sentry, and this one you can pick, of course, the body is just slide right in like that. And then you don't need any kind of glue for that one, and it goes like that. So if you want to type, oh, okay, I got lucky and it's all more or less. So if you want a heavier type of sentry on top of your tank, you could do it too. It's like a bit bent, but because it's not like it's not glued together. Yeah, it's not. It's floating on the pieces. So that's it for the small accessories and the main battle tank. Now I'm gonna switch plate and go to the tank accessories. So this is a tank accessories you get, and that's why I wanted to showcase this one first after the main battle tank, because you could use all those accessories for all the models, right? Depending of okay, I'm losing pieces here. And because it's close to the main body showcase, I'm gonna deconstruct this one to showcase how it mounts. So you remember there is some old gap still in the model here, and you can slide those arms to put the accessories if you want or don't want them. That's why I wouldn't glue those pieces. So now I can just slide the side back and can remove these two if it allows me. A bit hard to grip because it was tight here. And you can see you had those all before, and now we can just put those arms to slide accessories in the front or at the back of the tank, right? Back, front, it's the same pieces. So you don't, if you just run front accessories and sometimes you want to switch to back, you can reuse those. So just slide right in and lock in place with the side. Right. So for front accessories, you have a choice of two blade. So it just, I can see it just slide, just one piece and slide, and then you can choose a blade you want. So you have a, I don't know the name of blade, to be fair, breathable blade, but you have this one, and you have this big one that I love, that I would use on my like commander tank or something like that, which is a big ram like that. And it don't like, it's on the same height of the tank, so if your cannon can go pass through on top of the blade. You have also back accessories. So for like troops portals, I have this print, which is moving, and you just slide on those two. And it can deploy, of course. And you have also this, which are foots, like for artillery, right? So you can open, and it's stabilization foot or feet, or arms. I don't know the name in. I'm not like a builders or artilleryman, so but like. You can deploy it like that, and it could be like more like a fluff type of accessories. That allows you, like, if you have a big MLRS, I'm gonna show you, if you want to stabilize the main body, you have foot for like a wider stabilization. So now I'm gonna go into assembly of those. For the tank, for this, it just, you need 2 foot. 2 feet, and you need 2-inch plug. So this one is the same for the other one too, so you can reuse those if you want, and it just slide in like that, right? It's not super complicated. Just slide in, put it back inside of it. And then this one you can put inside of it too. And you can see it move. Right, and it can lock like that, and then it doesn't fall. Once that. I'm gonna do the other side real quick. So the other side. Again, super fast. Don't even need to align. And slide the foot in. Okay, that's it for this one. And for this one is easy too. So again, it's the same hinge. So you have one door which is mirrored, and you have the main ramp here. And you have the portal. So now if I ensemble it on the side, so it can fall here, but it doesn't fall. But what I did do in the design is I locked those pieces with the door, so now it cannot fall anymore or slide. And for this one is gonna hold the other line, put that inside, and it's done. And now I can close it. And I would prefer this variant of body because it can, if you decide to glue it, it can just flush with the main tank body. Again, if you choose to not glue it, it can't sometimes not hold, but you can only do so much with that kind of weight on top of this, right? It's hard to like having everything modular and make it like possible to be very tight, and also having like this kind of assembly for everything. Anyway, that's it for the body accessories, and now I'm gonna go to more tank variation now. Okay, let's go with the artillery cannon, with the cannon slide off when I was trying to like take the tank. So basically you have your main turrets, of course, again, and you have a bunch of cannon. So this is a small one. What is cool is that you can pause the cannon however you want. There's just a small downside with this design that I'm gonna talk about. You see this part slide. I did a mistake in the design when I designed it, and you would like need to like put some tape to keep it to those two pieces together, I would say. That's what I'm gonna do. If you want, you can always glue it, of course. So now always be better when it's glued, but if you want to like replace pieces inside the tank, or if you have pieces that break, it's better to not glue it. You have a super long cannon if you want. You have some type of sniper ray gun that I wanted to make, so it would be like pieces that like do orbital defense, right? With a big snipe cannon. You see when I don't hold the cannon that I did fall, or if I push it back, but it still should hold without any glue. And here on the top you have the 3 point for like accessories for the sentry, right? Tank accessories. And you have also, so this go into those holes. You can swap this for this one, which is designed to use the rail cannon, which is like this big one. And again, you don't need glue for this cannon, unless you want to like have a perfect assembly, because you can see because of the resin gap I left for like be easy to swap. Sometimes it can not be aligned with everything. But again, when I'm gonna paint it, it's gonna add a layer on top of it, so it's gonna be way tighter, right? So this is the SPG. If you want, you can also use double cannon. So if I just put a plug here in the middle instead of putting a cannon, and I can put 2 cannon here, you have now a double cannon artillery, which looks super mean. Right, if you look at the size here on the top view. And also you can have a triple cannon if you want. So if I remove this one, the core, put that one in, and put one more. Hopefully it hold. Okay, it didn't hold. See, it's not locking the turrets together, so that's why it's kind of annoying. So I need to hold it for now because it's way too big. And you can see the triple cannon setup. If you should orient the cannon like that to have the exhaust go top and bottom. So that's it for the main showcase. So let's go into the assembly of the main turrets here. This one is quite complex, and it's in 2 parts sadly, because I didn't lock those 2 parts together with the top part. It was a mistake from me, but I think I didn't have the space for it. Maybe, I'm not sure. I was mostly ill this year, so some of the design might be a bit not the best one. So let's remove all those pieces. This one needs a bit more cleanup because the support was on this side. Anyway, so for this is all the pieces you need. If I go to the top view to showcase, so this is the gun, this is the body, and this is the pieces for... Let me remove the body for now. So first what I want to do is to do the main mechanism. So if your tooth break, you can still remove this part because it's not linked to these big parts, and change it if one day it breaks. It shouldn't. It should be thick enough. But hey. And for the mechanism, I'm just gonna quickly showcase it. Maybe I need to finish the construction to showcase it. So you have the other side with the teeth. And this just slide in. So mirroring parts here. And then you need gears that go inside of it here. So 4 gears. It's the same gears for every tanks, by the way. And still can move, of course. And now I need to the top part, which is the last key that's gonna hold everything together. So this one is a bit complex to showcase the assembly, but I'm gonna do my best. And it just go in place like that, and then you have one big piece with the gears that's still moving. Okay. For the front part, what I like to do is to just sandwich this part between those 2 parts. Put it up like that, sandwich. So very easy. And then it gives you enough space when it's up like that to put the last piece. just this one. Just slide in the key here. I can see how it looks here. Now I push the thing up a bit and I can slide in the last pieces and slide out this one. And now it's locked into the gear and it holds. Problem is, because these two pieces are not connected, I would use like tape here to make it connected. So if I look at the mechanism here, if I remove this piece and this, you can see how it works. So you have enough space to do whatever with the sentry here for the main rotation of this turret, and then it should go inside those gear. Right, so that's how it works. So yeah, just a bit of fun of this design, but I think that's the only one, and I love this design because I love to have elevation of like guns you see on the battlefield. So I wanted to like store it, so let's quickly redo the main. Very quick to assembly. And that's it for the SPG gun, I would say. So yeah, pretty big piece, pretty big turrets, moving parts. No glue except these two parts, but and you can replace this one if it breaks right inside. So that's the main setup for it. I'm gonna switch to new tanks now. So this is the anti-aircraft setup, and also I put the IV with this two one. So the only problem with this design is again the when you don't use glue, if the strength of this. So when it's gonna be glued, these two pole and painted, you can have more friction for the cannon to hold. Here I'm just like pushing it to have more friction. If I don't hold it because there is no glue, it's gonna fall, right? So just a quick disclaimer for it. You use the same cannon for the anti-aerial gun and for the IFV turret. This is a smaller turret, but you can slide the same cannon on it. And if I want to show how it looks, smaller cannon, and this one, let's go with a closer look too. So again, you have movable parts, a gear move, this big wheel move, and lock into place with this main core body. Okay, right. For the cannon, you have multiple choices. You have a simple cannon that I removed to the support. I forgot to remove the support here, but yeah, remove the support. You have this setup. You have this quad cannon, quad auto cannon. You have a, I can't remember the name of some type of Gatling gun, and some other type of maybe laser cannon. So a lot of choices here. So if I plug it, it just go right in like that. It's no like direction for it, not direction, but like orientation, except this one, they need a proper orientation, of course. I'm not gonna showcase all the cannon on the anterior sentry, but and of course you have all those small holes for accessories on top. So if you prefer to have a slimmer one, you can close all the holes, or you can put turrets and stuff like that. I've also designed a turret that I wanted to do like full with no turrets but only missile on top. And it gives you this very small height for like this tank. You can focus, please. So for like a urban combat environment, when you don't need the turrets and you can have 4 holes for like smaller sentry, and having your launchers for helping infantry, right? So this one is like super easy to print too. Let's go back to the anti-aircraft rifle and the assembly of it. So again, yeah, let me show you a top view for that, for the number of cannon you have to print. If you want to use all variation, I would not use all variation, but I would print the one I like, right? But for showcasing, I printed everything. So this one is pretty straightforward for assembly. You just have this core body, and then you have all those smaller pieces. So you have the big turrets here, body, with the hole here for, again, customization for turret accessories. And for this one, it's more like a sandwich layer, right? So you need 2 of those pieces, 2 gear, and 2 big wheel, and 1 core body. So what I do if I need to do the assembly for it is I'm gonna take one of the simple body here, put the gear, put the big wheel with the square, because the key here is square with like the body. Now I put the body on top. Now I put the last big wheel, the gear, slide in, and the last top piece. And now I have my sandwich. I can just take it like that. I'm fully looking. I try to like look okay on the camera, but also not everything falling apart. And then I can just slide everything in like that. And you have your main setup done. So pretty easy to do the assembly of it, right? And now you can put any gun you want. And you're done. Again, if you don't plan to use glue with this one, I would use some kind of putty to like make the big wheel sticky. So that it can have different angle of attack with this type of gun. But yeah, that's more or less it for this one. And for the IFV2, because it was also to showcase this other model, right? Anyway, now I'm gonna go to the last one, I think. Let me look at my plate. No, not the last one, but the last one is not this one. But the next one gonna be a mix of two tanks. So when you want big guns, I would say you can have this one, which is big, okay, but I think it looks super mean. Let's go to the top view. So again, no glue was used here, but some part would need glue, right? Like the main missile. It's a movable launcher. So if you don't like having your tank like that, with the missile up, and let's say you are preparing a strike, you have your missile like that, and if you want to prepare for a strike, let's say you play a death strike missile, if you play 40k, you can just put it like that, and you have your missile ready to launch. And it's too big for the camera. Yeah, to go to eye. So if you want a regular death strike missile, this is the one I painted when I was 14. Don't look at my design. I need to repaint all of those, but anyway, it's the size difference. So it's half the size of my missile, and if you make it, you can make it longer if you want, because those core body is the same piece. So you need 2 of those, but you can make 3, 4 of those if you want, which is a bit weird, but if you want, you can't, right? Now I just hold everything, put the arm up, put the pose I want, put the arm down. Like that, and now I have like a lower angle of attack. So now I'm gonna showcase the full assembly of those 2, because you have also a multiple rocket launcher setup if you want. So for this I'm gonna remove the body, so I have more room. I'm gonna remove the main missile. And I'm gonna remove all those pieces real quick. This is a lot of pieces, by the way, so this is a big project, but I think it looks super good on the battlefield. This is also the tank I printed with the wrong profile. So some of the pieces are a bit too tight, which can be good if you like don't need glue, but in my opinion it was too tight. Because I printed with the wrong profile, I was too hasty to print this one. So this is a lot of pieces. Let's go to the top view to see it a bit better. But if you need to print all variation of this tank, this is more or less all the pieces you want. Minus a couple of ones that I'm not gonna showcase, because it's you don't need to showcase it. Because it's just the same of double of like this part, or for the multiple rocket launcher. So yeah, this is the main, all the part you need. You need the main body plate. And on top of that, you need this launcher plate. I forgot to remove this one. So you need this piece mirrored, and I'm gonna go into the assembly now. So this one is a bit tight because of my print setting, but it's fine. Just slide in like that. And what I prefer to do is having my platform up and then slide into those dovetails here. Okay. So I want to lock those dovetails. So now I'm gonna use these pieces, which is the same piece mirrored. And you go inside of it. So you can see you have 2 square key, and just go right in, hopefully, if I can do it on the camera. Like that. So let me choose another angle because it was kinda hard to like show it, and it just pop right in and slide. If I can do it properly, right? And now it's locked by gravity, and you can push back the dovetails. Alright, so if you don't want to glue those parts, you can the mechanism still work and it holds very well, right? Right, it's not gonna fall and you're not gonna break your big missile. So for the arms you need 4 arms, 2 foot, and 2 cover. Again, the foot is more like some small teeth that goes inside the teeth of the platform, right? So it doesn't move. And again, with the big longer mesh here to make sure it doesn't topple over, right? So for this one, it's a bit gonna be a bit hard to showcase on camera to assemble, but most of the time what I like to do is begin with the arm, put the foot inside of it, goes in the MLRS platform here, and I will take my other arm, go inside both, and now I have an arm, except it's not together, so I have a cover here that sandwich the arm together. It works without glue, but it would be better to be glued in my opinion. So, but if you glue it, you can remove the arms. So, I mean, it's made not to be glued, but like to be safe, if you want, you can glue those. But I can see it doesn't separate, and now if I push on the main, I need to do the second arms. If I push, it's not gonna be not fun. So, foot, and cover. In the, I mean, the direction, it don't matter here. It's more like if you like it or not. And now it's super solid, so I can push, and it doesn't move. I mean, it still move a bit, right? If I push too hard on it, but nobody gonna put a lot of forces, that much forces on it. And you know, if I change the angle of it, if I push it, right, it stay put, right? So it's a big design, but like not only glue, and you can role play with, let's say it's gonna launch and you put it very high like that, and it launch your big missile and it stops. So let's not use this pose. Oh, so for finish you need to put this piece in like here, and then it allows you to like put this one on top like that, and this is the lowest position you can achieve. But if you have weight on top of it, it's gonna be fine, right? It's supported by this square spear. So let's go into the big missile now. You need 2 core body, and it's keyed, so you can mistake it. If you want a longer missile, which is more or less supported but not supported, you can put more bodies, I would say, if you want a longer missile. You have the base, and you have the top view. As you can see, you don't have the pointy bits here, and here you do need also the pointy bits here inside of it. So it uses the same end, which is just this piece, and it's the same for like this one too. And go inside of it, if I can put it inside. Okay, like that. And now it's closed. I did that because like that it's easier to clean the inside on every pieces. If I go to top view, it's very big hollow pieces, but because it's a big missile, I want it to be like very hollowed, right? Anyway, for the details of the back parts with the vent. For the assembly, just straightforward to put that on top of it like that. And the same is key, so you can't really go wrong here. And then you put the tip. You need to glue the tip because it's gonna fall, it's gravity. For the assembly of the launcher, for the big ICBM, it's a lot of pieces, I would say, but it looks super cool. So you need the main adapter here, and the body that's gonna hold the missile. And now you need those two keys, those two pieces, which are mirror, to like keep the thing together, right? Now it can still slide, as you can see. So for this, you need to insert this one like that, and it keys like that. You have a second one, goes inside. And you can push it very well into it, so it doesn't slide too much. And now everything is locked together. But you can see it's a bit flimsy in my opinion, right? So what I did is now I have the big missile. And the missile end rests on those pieces and locks those together, more or less. But like it holds. And now I can just put that up. Not that fast. I'm not supposed to fling the missile like that, but I think I fling it like that. And a bunch of pieces got in the wrong orientation, and now you can hold like that if you want to have a missile like that. And it doesn't slide. It's heavy enough to not slide. Again, if you put it like that, it's gonna take the missile like that. It's gonna, of course, not stick to this part, but it's so big and heavy, it should be fine, right? So yeah, that's it for the main metal. So remove those two pieces. Now it can remove those two. Put the foot together right, and now I'm gonna showcase the multiple rocket launcher. So this one is a bit simpler, I would say. We have one core body that goes into one other core body, of course. You can make it as long as you want. You have the same key here every time, but you don't only want one. And slide like that. Right? You have the back part. That slide like that. For now, I'm gonna put the angle down. It slide like that, and you have the front piece that slide here, like that. The front piece and the back piece parts, you can choose whatever end you want. So if I want this missile as an end, I can slide those two. Like that. And it's the same for the front part. So if I want this dual launcher, I have one. If I want a bigger launcher, I have this option too. And you can see I put those handles to make it easier to remove by hand if you have even bigger fingers than me. Very easy to swap those. Pop inside of it if you want smaller rockets, and if you want very small rockets, you have also the option for cover. But if you are like me and you want to have a Manticore-like type of setup, I would say you give a quad missile like that. It's not all by any magnets, so if you want to glue them, you can. For like whenever you manipulate them, you're not gonna fall, you know. Or use another setup with magnets or stuff like that, I'm not sure. But it should hold itself, except if you like swing your tanks around, right? And nobody gonna do that realistically. So again, at the back, because it still can slide, you have also two pieces that serve as key too. So let's remove the front part for now. I can showcase it better. So you have those pieces that goes inside. Make sure it's go all the way in with the key. And it should slide like that. And as you can see here, it's go on top of the end launcher, so it lock this piece together more. And it's gonna do the same for the other parts. And slide in. So what's in, you just slide it and it's lock. So now I can remove the launcher. But that means also this can't be removed anymore. So if I do any kind of extreme angle, it's not gonna fall anymore. Right? And the rest is put the rest of the body. And you have your rocket launcher. So if I take with the main body here, if I take it back to showcase this one because it was not construct, it looked like that. Right, so I'm preparing to launch, bam, 4 missiles, and then I can go back to my resting position if I want. Which is not this one. Need to put the arm up, push everything, and now you have your resting position. And it's a turret, so it can move. Most of the time it's gonna move more or less like that, right? When you see your MLRS, the amount of rotations they put inside the missile is not as much as possible because of the weight of it, right? It's gonna fall like that. I mean, if it was glue, it's not gonna fall, but you have this kind of option, right? So that's it for the multiple rocket launcher and ICBM. It is a very big print. Like, again, if I show like the Death Strike missile, which is, in my opinion, for like the amount of damage a Death Strike missile can do, low-wise, this one looks like a joke to me. It's more like a Manticore missile for me, that one. And this one is more like a real vortex missile that can fluff in, right? But yeah, this one is like, it's quite a big project to make. But I think it looks super good, and it would look super good on the table if you play it with it, right? So let's go to the last tank, which is not more or less not a tank, but let's talk about it. Okay, this one is more like a fantasy one I wanted to make. If you want to use the platform without the tank, you can. And it's not linked to any kind of key. But I'm gonna showcase it on the tank. And nothing is glued, so I almost did a big mistake. The girl is glued. And before that, also for this campaign, gonna got these 2 models, which is in the row the 2 that design all the models. So you have this girl holding her friends, which is a 2 saint in the row of it. So again, only glue on the head. You can swap the head if you have other model for my lineup, if you don't like the heads here. But yeah, she's holding it like that. Okay, that's it for it. And this girl here is technically playing the piano on this setup. So if you go to my Instagram, you can see like better view of it. But let's remove it like right now. So it's holding without glue, but it would be better to be glued here, right? But you can just slide. So you can see a bit better how she looks like. Again, there's the same wings mirrored. If you don't like those wings, you can also use any wings of my lineup. If you want demon wings, or later on you can also swap those with what's the name again? Some kind of cyberpunk type of wing. It uses the same key for everything. So if you don't like those wings, you can swap them for like anything that is not engine wings. Yeah, it's all together. It's glue with super glue, so it's fine. You have the small, what's the name again? Seat. Just a small seat. And if you don't want to have the keyboard here, and put musician on top from my lineup, and keep this piece around, you can just not glue it, right? There is no key, so this one is flat, so you can put the violinist or the one playing the drum, if you like those. And the platform, as you can see, not keyed. You can just at the back. So if you want to use it for other stuff than on the tank, you can, right? Or like maybe on the bigger tank. And this is the main organ, pipe organ. And the gears that move here at the back. So here the assembly is pretty straightforward, to be fair. It's just this org piece, this back piece with all the roses. I didn't put pikes on the roses because it would be a pain to paint and also to print, to not break, so you only have leaves on top of it. And this is just 2 parts, so a lot of cable. And just 2 gears again, the same gears again and again on all design. Let it move. Also, those parts were printed without the good setting too, so that's why my gear doesn't move as well. This one worked fine, but this one, not sure why it blocked. Anyway. So what I like to do here for this assembly is just sliding this first piece in. Be careful to not break any kind of leaves, especially when you're gonna clean those. Now it's strong enough when the resin is cured, but before, again, I mean, you know, right? When it's uncured, it's fragile. So slide in like that. Slide in like that. And now you have your big piece together. If you want to try to balance it, the girl with a small seat, it's possible, but I would prefer to like glue it when I'm done with it. With the painting of this girl, but it's gonna be a while since when I'm gonna print it, so most of the time you can just put on the seat like that and try to slide the seat like that. Kinda hard with gloves. And then it's more or less old. Except when it's not glue, she does have her hands a bit above the keyboard instead of on the keyboard when it's glue. But it holds. And it's a good display for now for me, I would say. Okay, so that's more or less it for all the tank variation. It's quite a long video, hopefully you like it. I think I cover everything. If you have any more questions, you can put that in the description or on the Kickstarter campaign. All the assembly you can go on my Sketchfab profile, and you can look at all my models for the assembly video. So now if I go to on my Sketchfab profile, now if I remove the webcam, so if you go to my models, you have a collection for Aurora Vanguard for all the models I made. And here, if I want to see the assembly for, for example, the Python MLRS or this other model, I can go in and have a 360 view of the model. So if you don't know which parts go where, you can go around the model and see for yourself how it goes. And you have the showcase of the deck assembly. And you can of course play pause. It's like a YouTube video but in 3D, right? I showed in real life also all the option I showed, but like I wanted to do like a print everything and showcase it's like everything can be printed, right? Again for the SPG. A big canon choice, of course. Yeah, it shows all the pieces you need, the assembly very quick. And it shows the mechanism here for this model. Yeah, that's it for me. Hopefully you liked it, and see you in the next video or maybe a next stream. Okay, so I thought my video was finished, but I forgot to talk about 2 important points. So first I want to talk about the design of the tanks overall. So this tank was made based on like recent tanks. That mean like 20th and 21st century tank design. And it's meant to, I use like a blueprint from real tanks for the size of it. So I wanted a more realistic tanks approach with all the details for the tracks and all those small details, and I wanted to have a bunch of cameras and stuff like that because reconnaissance and stuff like that. So that's why there is a lot of opening here. It's for cameras because I wanted those tanks because it's linked to my army and my lore. It's supposed to be like unmanned vehicle, right? So it's guided vehicle. Okay, maybe multiple people guiding it, but like it's allow you a lot of fail-safe for those tanks for the design of it. And I forgot maybe to showcase the back of this one. The other thing I think it would be important and maybe would be a downside for some people's right now is the proxy, using those as proxy for like any kind of games. For example, 40k. Playing with friends, I think it would be fine. For me, with my friends, but not for tournament. If you want really good proxies, I think there are a bunch out there enough for like 40k proxies for tanks. And I would do mine too, like later when I'm doing the new army, which is gonna be proxy more closer for Imperial Guard, for example. But let's say like for example a basilisk here for the size. So again, I'm not liking the Game Workshop rules when the cannon is part of the hull. But that's part of it, right? If I go to the top view for the size, I can see it's quite a bit bigger, right? If I put a Chimera with a bulldozer blade, I don't know, don't look at my painting job, it was when I was 14, but anyway, I need to repaint those. You see it's quite longer. If you remove the accessories, it's even more visible, like you have a big sticking of it. But again, unless you're doing tournaments and you do modeling for what's its name again, modeling for conveniency, and if you like build the blade but you don't use them because for the rule it's part of the hull or something like that, that's kinda stupid, but that's it. And also like older models, the new older models have trench and accessories on the back too, right? So if I take my 30 gray MLRS, because my painted one was as ugly as this one, but anyway, see, it's way smaller. So that's a bit of downside. I love my MLRSs, but like these tanks are like toys. The design of it is a toy. It's based on the British tanks, I know, but you have no ground clearance at all, so it can. You don't have suspension at all, and I wanted to have more closer designs that are like closer to reality than the Game Workshop one, right? Back in the day. So if you have a tank with all the accessories at the back and at the front, it's more or less the same size. And if you take the longer of the gun into account. But yeah, that's the downside of this model. I know going into it that it's gonna be longer. But this one is a fantasy 40k-ish one model, okay? And this one is more like with realistic dimension. So I looked at Abraham tanks, Merkava tanks, Leopard tanks, the Swedish tank, the CV90 tanks lineup. It's not Swedish, I can't remember which one of the Nordic countries it is, sorry about that, if you like those tanks. Look also at the T90 and stuff like that, and like more advanced tanks, Tiger tank and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the only downside I would say. I mean, it's just a couple of inches. It would be, because it's not real proxy, you can really use this if your opponent don't want it, right? But I think in 40k with friends, it's fine, right? It's not like you're modeling for conveniency or for rules, especially if you have a basilisk here. And the basilisk used to go with in the box with a builder's blade. So if you have a full basilisk with a blade, it's more or less the same size as my tanks. If you remove the cannon. If you have the cannon, of course, I mean, it's, if you play with the cannon size, it's more or less the same size, of course. But that's for you. I mean, I love as a piece those tanks because I love my design, but that's just the downside I would think if you want to use this as proxy. Talk with your friends if you're allowed, because it's a big product, right? But yeah, I would use mine for like the Death Strike variation, because I don't like the Death Strike from Game Workshop. I think it's too small. So yeah, that's it. So hey, see you next time then.